Good morning. So I'm just turning on the camera. It's Saturday morning and I've been cleaning my house and talking with my husband, and a few things kind of came to my brain that I wanted to share. So I'm not ready for doing this. This is my Saturday morning, a little self-conscious about this, but anyhow, I don't know if I'll put this out or not, but anyhow, here I am. What I wanted to talk about is there has been this feeling inside of me where it's like I feel flatlined or numb, disinterested. I feel like there's a lack of, I've always had a motivation driving me forward, and I feel like there's just this lack of motivation. There's this lack of wanting anything. I sit there and I try and think of, okay, what do I want to create in my life? Where do I want to improve? I've gratitude. I have gratitude for all my stuff, right? And everything else. But there's always places that you want to grow and continue to learn and expand on yourself. And so I go into the mode and I think of that, and I'm like, it'd be great to, work towards having more travel in my life. Where would I go? Right? And I think of the different places that I would go. I want to do a retreat next year down in Sedona. Again, I want to take people there. I want to go to Costa Rica. I'd really love to go to Australia. But when I go to these places, I want to go in and meet the people. I want to go and really understand the cultures of these places. I also actually want to go to Russia. I know that might be controversial, but I do. And Sweden is another big one. Iceland, anyhow, I've got these places that I want to go, and there's lots of places in the States too that I'd love to travel that aren't as big an issue to get there. Even a trip to Vegas would be nice for the weekend type of thing. I'd like to do Stairway to the Stars by the Disclosure Movement next year. Oh, I totally want to do that one. That was so cool. It's in Vegas next November, I think. Anyhow, so I want to do these things, and in the moment, I think about that, and then I kind of got, it's a kind of exciting that, and then I think about, then I start going, okay, I really start thinking about the details of actually doing it, and I'm like, ooh, there's travel, there's dealing with airports, there's dealing with airplanes, there's dealing with people, there's dealing with customs, there's dealing with the financial issue behind it, but that's not as big a whatever. That is what it is. And what it means to be leaving here, and just all the little details of what will it feel like to actually be there. I'm sleeping in a hotel bed, and the last time I was at a hotel bed, it really didn't count. And I started thinking these things, and I'm like, I have no motivation to really go. It really zaps my motivation. And then I think of things I want to create, and just, I want to get out more and socialize. It really goes all the way from these travel and creating big plans and that motivation. And I've got these great ideas for being in more service next year, for you, the people that actually value what I have to say, and that actually receive healing and a hope and maybe motivation and clarity and all of that I try and portray and help people with. As I go through it, I like to share and uplift people with me. And I've got so many great ideas that I'm really excited about. But again, I'm having trouble finding that motivation to get it done, that drive behind it. And I've always been a pretty high drive person, where I will push myself 24/7 for days on end, to meet the end of a project or to accomplish something. I mean, I'm like a bull thrashing through whatever is blocking me. I push forward, and it ends up taking a huge toll on my body, which is what I just went through with I just did a what did I do? Oh, I did a market show, a big one actually at BC Place here and in Vancouver, and it wasn't the greatest, and there was a lot of challenges with it. And anyhow, it left me by the time, so the adrenaline carried me through the weekend. And then Monday morning when I was home, I had clients to deal with all day, and it wasn't until Tuesday night actually that I was able to stop, and the adrenaline kind of drained out of me, and oh my gosh, I was like totally immobile on Wednesday. I could not move. I was lying on the couch in dire pain. My entire body had seized up. And slowly I, heat pads and icing and stretching, and slowly now it's about, what are we now? That would be a week and a half now, and I'm finally feeling a little bit. I'm back to cleaning my house and working on things, and I've got some mobility to me again, and I'm feeling better. But wow, did it ever knock me out physically, emotionally, mentally, everything. And it's because I was running on adrenaline through the whole weekend, just charging forward and pushing myself to meet what I had to do because I had committed to it. So, but it really took a toll on me. And so then I think about doing these things again. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that, right? So I have that ability to drive. That's what I was saying, is I have this ability to drive through and really push myself. But I'm really finding that I don't have the motivation in myself. I don't feel that motivation anymore. So anyhow, this whole conversation, the point of this whole video this morning is I wanted to share with you a little bit of the understanding of this. Now, anybody who has gone in and received which actually I think I'm going to polish this up. I'm going to put this video in there and I'm going to polish it a little bit, and I'm going to send it out as a Christmas gift to everybody, actually. On my email list. So if you're not on my newsletter list, go to my website and get on my newsletter. And what you'll want to be doing is go into the where it says, so you go to soulclarity.ca, because I am Canadian. So CA, soulclarity.ca, and on my very first page, the very top of the page, they got my header, and then underneath that you have, I think it says, are you having a soul crisis? And it talks about the Empathy Overwhelm Program. That's the program you want to get into. That will put you on my newsletter. And I'll be sending out that gift for manifesting and everything coming up that I'm just going to talk a little bit about right now. Anyhow, that'll send that to you, as well as it'll give you some great tools and that for dealing with all sorts of energy aspects that are going on. Plus, I am in the works of making a 7-day challenge, which will also be added to that program and will also be coming out. And it's a 7-day challenge to open our hearts and move into compassion, just in time for Christmas, when we're dealing with our families and our friends, and lots of us get triggered through the holidays. So anyhow, that's coming. So sign up to my newsletter, soulclarity.ca. Back to my point. So what I wanted to talk about is this motivation, this deadness inside that I feel. And what I think I'm coming to understand in our conversation this morning, what I really wanted to lean into, is that my life is really good. I have a great life. I'm quite happy with my life. I love my kids. I love my family. I love, my extended family. I'm like, things are good. And I'm no longer in this reactive state with everything. I've healed a lot of my shadows. I'm pretty good. Not 100%. Nobody's ever 100%. There's always stuff, but pretty darn good, right? But what I've noticed is there's two things in motivation. We can be motivated by that which we fear. We can be motivated by fear, anger, resentment, frustrations. We can get our back up and our ego going, we're going to prove them wrong about us. I'll show them. Come hell or high water, I will get this done. Those are all in this negative push, which we can use to our benefit, right? I no longer want this, I want that, and this is what I'm going to resist against, which is going to push me forward, that concept. But I no longer have this, I don't have much back here going, I need to prove anybody wrong. I am what I am. I don't have this, I've taken a lot of flack for what I do. I've been questioned inside out, upside down, and everything else. People think I'm crazy, whatever. I don't care. I don't really care anymore. I really don't. I've moved past that point. And if you're if you're a star seed, pretty much if you're watching this, I can tell you you're a star seed. Right? Okay. You are a light worker. Whether you are doing this as a living like I am, or if you're publicly going out and doing some sort of healings, it doesn't matter. Even if you're just a person that is listening to this, that thinks in terms of light and love and unity and raising consciousness, then you are one of the starseeds. And if you weren't one of them, you wouldn't be attracted to this video, and you've gotten this video because you needed to hear it. Okay, so do me a favor, like it, share it, subscribe to my channel. Anyhow, back to what I was saying. So we have this motivation. We can move away from something and have that force that moves us, and it can be extremely motivating, and it can be used. And why not use it? It's part of who we are. Use that motivation to drive you forward to something that you choose. So yes, it's a negative energy, but if it's motivating you towards something positive, then that's kind of a good transformation, isn't it? It's useful. So why not use it and move forward towards something good? Just be aware of where you're going, right? What you're being motivated towards, what it is. But I'm not there anymore. I don't have this motivation anymore. I don't need to do that. I don't have this negativity. I'm actually happy and content, and life is good, right? So what is this? How do I motivate myself again? And what I am coming to realize and really understand, and I've known this before. I've known that use love and joy and pleasure to be your guideline to motivating your future, and this, and yeah, I've known that. I've talked about that, and that manifesting program that I was talking about talks about that, but I didn't really understand it. I kind of, because I was moving away from something negative, and my vision was a positive and a love and a light and all those great, joyful, pleasurable movement goals, I never saw them in a way of being the motivator, because this was the motivator. This negative, what I'm not going to be, was the motivator. But now I'm sitting in this position going, I don't really have a negative motivator. There's a couple things, but not really, right? I need more motivation in life, and I have to move into this energy of moving into being in a state of joy. And now, again, I'm going to do another video on this later, because every year I set a word for myself that is the theme for my year. Last year it was balance, trying to find the balance in my life, right? This year, I think it's adventure, because I really feel I've lost the adventure of life. And that's what it is. I want to take this joy. When you move into joy as a motivator, love as a motivator, pleasure as a motivator, all in the eyes of how do you serve the world to generate more love, joy, and compassion, and in service. When you pull that whole bundle together to be your motivator, it's a really different feeling. It's a really it becomes, I think, an adventure. That's like what is adventure? Adventure is something new, right? An adventure can be a negative thing where you're in pursuit, running through the jungles from drug lords or something, which I kind of have a friend that went through that recently. But anyhow, it could be that, which is an adventure for sure, but it's certainly from a negative realm. But what about a pleasure adventure? What about, like I stop and I think about it. One of the big things for me was this last year was doing the Vancouver Psychic Fair, and I will be doing that again. I loved it. It was amazing to spend 4 days in just like one client after another. It was intense for 4 days. I swear I didn't eat, sleep, drink. Now I was just reading, talking, and I was just so high on the energy of what I was doing. It was amazing, and I want to do it again this year. I'm actually thinking I might do a few more this year, but that's adventure. That was adventure. That was stepping out of my comfort zone, right? To commit to doing spontaneous readings 4 days in a row. I think it was 4 days in a row, long hours. I mean, we were going 10 to 10, I think, was one of the days that we went. Like, it was long hours. It was intense, right? That was like, wow, was it ever an adventure? It was pushing me out of my comfort zone to go and do it. I tend to be a hermit. Like I said, I live in a pretty cushy life, right? I work when I want to, and I work from home mostly. And, I write my own schedule. So for me to go to that level of intensity, it was a push for me, and it was an adventure, and it was fun, and it was pleasurable, and it was joyful, and it was uplifting, and it was just like so deeply satisfying. And I did not have, even though, the intensity of that versus that weekend of 4 days, long days, in full service, one person right after another, like boom, 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 not even time to eat, not even time to go to the bathroom. Like, it was crazy weekend, right? To last, like 2 weeks ago here, when I was at the BC Place Market, and there was not a lot of people there. I wasn't doing any readings the whole weekend. I had a few conversations, but it really didn't have an impact. I was really happy with my talk. I did a talk on stage, and that was fantastic. I really enjoyed that, and I got a lot of positive feedback from that on how people got stuff from it. But aside from that moment, the weekend was kind of a dud. I made the most of it. I met up with some friends. We had a good time, but it was a traumatic weekend, and it affected me so heavily. And yet I came off the Vancouver Psychic Fair, that 4 day of intensity last spring, where it was like, I came off of that weekend on a high. I was rejuvenated. I was motivated. And oh my gosh, it carried me right through the summer, right into the fall. Like, boom, I was motivated. Until I did this last BC Place one. Like, what the heck, right? And I think that's what it was, is that I was in the energies at the psychic fair. I was in the energies of adventure and joy and love and service and wow, I don't have to be here, but holy crap, am I happy to be here, right? Whereas the other market was, wow, this doesn't feel good. I'm here because I committed, so I'm pushing myself through it. I said I'd be here. I'm going to honor my word. I'm going to be here. I'm going to show up, even if it's for one person. And thankfully, there was more than one person over the weekend, but still, it wasn't, it wasn't a big thing. That really took a toll on me. That was hard. But the other one, which was way more resources energetically from me, was so motivational, so inspiring, so uplifting. And that's my message, is that's, I think, where my nugget is, and I'm going to lean into even more so here coming up, is that's the adventure of life, and the adventure towards joy, pleasure, service, love, unity, ascension, growing, like speaking your truth, standing your authority. That is pure light me up joy. Versus being motivated by, I'm going to prove them wrong. They said I couldn't do it, I'm going to do it. Those are all great if you're in that space. But if you're in the dead space between those states, this may be what you want to lean into. And if you're feeling that right, and I think a lot of starseeds are feeling that way. They're feeling a lot of tired, unmotivated, disinterested in the human world. They're really in this kind of place. And I think it's because we're not running from it anymore. Most starseeds know that we're welcoming in a new earth. We are watching what's happening in the world. And yeah, it's horrifying, but at the same time, most of us kind of understand that it's being shadows revealed, which is a healing process. Our empathy is actually being tapped on here as well, because there's so much pain and suffering that we're seeing. But really, most starseeds are not in the heart of it. We're kind of in the observation of it more so. And our lives here, a lot of starseeds, I shouldn't say that, a lot of starseeds are caught in the chaos of transition in their own lives. But I think there's also a lot of starseeds that may be like me, where they've been in service. This is probably calling more, it may be more those that have been in service for quite some time now, and you're just feeling kind of flatlined. Here's my message. Try and step into the adventure, the joy of service, the joy of just being. Because remember, you don't have to pursue anything. You don't have to go against everything. You just have to be in it. Just be in it and be it and engage in it and let joy and pleasure and what lights you up be your motivation. That be the, lean into that to be the motivation for getting out of bed every day. All right. And then getting out of bed every day will move into a yahoo. Life is an adventure. Life is grand. And every day is a vacation. Every day is a vacation because your soul is here for the adventure. So let's make it a loving, full soul adventure. Anyhow, I'm starting to really, I need to wrap up. I wanted to keep this short. Like I said, I'm actually cleaning my house right now, and this was not a planned video. This was just a brain dump that I wanted to get out and share with people because it was such an insight to me. I want to share it. Love you all. See you later. Oh, by the way, subscribe, like my channel, subscribe to my channel, like the video, share the video, share it to all your starseed friends, and hopefully they get a few nuggets out of it. And sign up to my newsletter because I've got some really exciting things coming in the works for the next few weeks and into the new year. Love you all. Website, sorry, go to my website. So Are You Having a Soul Crisis? The Empathy Overwhelm Program. Go into that. That'll get you on my email list, and it'll give you a great meditation and some tools there. And it's soulclarity.ca. Now I'm going. Bye bye. Love you.